here with Statifying Football. These are the noon games for Saturday, Week 9 for college football. Cincinnati and Tulane. Cincinnati won a close game against Navy, 27-20. Desmond Ridder, 176 passing, 2 touchdown passes. Joel Duplanco, 15 tackles, 2 tackles for loss. Aaron Beavers, 14 tackles and a tackle for loss. And Curtis Brooks, 10 tackles, 1 sack, 3 tackles for loss defensively. They had 11 penalties in that game. They got to clean that up. Tulane has a pretty potent offense. They've shown it throughout the year, although they're only 1-6. They lost to SMU 55-26. Michael Pratt 234 passing, 3 touchdowns. Nick Anderson had 11 tackles. Again, this could be pretty high scoring, could go back and forth, but I think Cincinnati would have a little bit too much in the end and be able to win. All right, one of the big games of the week, Michigan and Michigan State, both ranked in the top 8, both still undefeated. Michigan had a good win against Northwestern, 33-7. Blake Corum, 119 rushing and 2 touchdowns. Hassan Haskins, 110 rushing and 2 touchdowns, and they ran for 294 yards as a team. Michigan State, coming off a bye, they had a defensive victory against Indiana, 20-15. Peyton Thorne was subpar, 126 passing, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. It was their defense that won it with 3 turnovers, an interception return for a touchdown, and Corveras couched with 13 tackles and a pass defense. This is going to be a really close game. I think it'll be Michigan that ends up winning in the end. I think Michigan State has the better quarterback play. Michigan has some really good running backs, so both defenses are really tough. I think the edge will go to the Michigan running game, but this could be really low scoring. Could be like 23-17 or something like that, but I'm going to go Michigan getting a big win there. Another pretty big game in the Big Ten, Iowa and Wisconsin. Iowa, they lost their first game 2 weeks ago. They fell to number 9. Wisconsin, they upset, quote, Purdue 30-13. Chaz and Lucy ran for 149 and a touchdown. Braylon Allen ran for 140 and 2 touchdowns. They ran for 290 as a team. Defensively had 6 sacks, 5 turnovers, with Leo Chanel having 3.5 sacks by himself. Iowa, like I said, they lost their last game 2 weeks ago against Purdue also, 24-7. Spencer Petras was not good at all, 195 and threw 4 interceptions. Seth Benson defensively chipped in with 12 tackles, a sack, and a tackle for loss. This is going to be a really low-scoring game. You got 2 of the best defenses in the country. I think they're probably like 1 and 2 or both in the top 5 or whatever defensively. Both offenses have a lot to be desired. Wisconsin's running game, though, has gotten going the last few games with Chaz and Lucy and Braylon Allen. Iowa, they have a good running back as well. This is really... I'm kind of leaning towards Wisconsin in the upset. It's going to be in Madison, big noon game. I'm going to say Wisconsin. You're getting the upset. All right, Texas and Baylor. This should be another big game in the Big 12 this time, though. Both teams coming off bye weeks. Texas, they lost 32-24 to Oklahoma State. Casey Thompson, 179, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. But John Robinson ran for 135 and 2 touchdowns. Jalen Ford had 12 tackles and a tackle for loss. Baylor, they beat BYU 38-24. Jared Bohannon 231 and 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Abram Smith ran for 188, 3 touchdowns. They ran for 303 yards, put up 534 yards of offense. Defensively, had 5 sacks, with Jalen Petrie adding 10 tackles, a sack, and 2.5 tackles for loss. This, I think, might go back and forth. The over-under is 62. Baylor by 2.5. That's about... I'm kind of leaning toward Texas in this one, but I'll go with Baylor. I think Baylor's got something really good going here. Maybe they'll force a couple of turnovers or something, get their running game going. I'm going to go with Baylor with which could be a pretty high-scoring and fun game to watch. All right, Miami and Pitt. Miami had a big upset against North Carolina State, 31-30. Tyler Van Dyke, 325 and 4 touchdowns. Charleston Rainbow, 9 catches, 127 and 2 touchdowns. Pitt, they had a nice win against Clemson, 27-17. Kenny Pickett, 302 passing, 2 touchdowns. Defensively, they had an interception return for a touchdown. Miami got the big upset against NC State. They went to 3-4. Pittsburgh had an emotional win against Clemson and got to 6-1 and 17th in the country. Pitt's favored by 10. I'm kind of leaning towards Miami in this one to get that upset. Pittsburgh's look great. Kenny Pickett he's a Heisman favorite now. He's near the top of that list. I'm going to go Pittsburgh wins a close game. I think it's going to be closer than 10. I'm going to put them on huge upset alert, though. Miami may come through with this one. I'll give Pitt the benefit of the doubt. All right, Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech. This probably be a high-scoring game. Virginia Tech lost 41-36 to Syracuse. Braxton Burmeister 177 passing and a touchdown. Malachi Thomas 151 rushing and 3 touchdowns. They had a PAT return defensively for 2 points. Nasir Peoples 11 tackles and a pass defense. Taylor Daly 11 tackles and a tackle for loss. Georgia Tech, conversely, they lost to Virginia 48-40. Jeff Sims 300 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, a pick, plus 65 rushing yards. Jameer Gibbs ran for 132 and a touchdown. They put up 570 total yards of offense. I'm gonna go Jeff Sims. He looked pretty good. Hopefully he won't turn it over as much. I'm gonna say Georgia Tech. This is going to be a high scoring game. The over under is 55. Take the over. I'll go way over on that. Georgia Tech, though, I think will outlast Virginia Tech more so in the end. All right, Rutgers and Illinois. This is going to be a pillow fight. Rutgers coming off a bye. They lost to Northwestern 21-7. Noah Vedra 152 passing and a touchdown. Bo Belton 8 catches, 101 and a touchdown. They had 11 penalties. They can't do that in this game. Olakunle Fadukasi had 11 tackles and a tackle for loss. Tyshawn Fogg 10 tackles and a tackle for loss. Illinois had a big upset against number 7 Penn State in 9 overtimes, set an FBS record. 9 overtimes, but it was because nobody could score. They only won 20-18. Archer Sikowski was terrible, 8 of 19, 38 yards and a pick. Luckily, they had a really good running game. They ran for 357 yards. Chase Brown ran for 223 and a touchdown. Joshua McCray ran for 142 as they ran for 357 as a team and had 4 sacks. This is going to be that kind of game. It might be 20-18 just in regular time. Illinois, though, I'll give the slight edge with their running game to eke out a victory there. All right, Indiana and Maryland. Indiana is terrible. They lost 54-7 to Ohio State. 3 quarterbacks combined, 8 of 17 for 80 yards and a touchdown. They had 128 total yards there. Maryland, they did lose to Minnesota 34-16. Talia Tagovailoa 189 passing and a touchdown. Nick Cross had 13 tackles. I'm going to go with Maryland here. Maryland's offense has been pretty decent most of the season, if not consistent. Indiana's they're on a downward slide. They are absolutely terrible. I think Maryland will win that game. Maryland's favored at 4. They might win by more than 4. All right, UMass and Liberty. UMass got drubbed by FSU 59-3. Brady Olsen 12-27, 110, 2 interceptions. They had 3 turnovers. Liberty had a win against North Texas 35-26, kind of high. 26, kind of high scoring like I figured. Malik Willis, 217 passing, 3 touchdown passes. CJ Daniels, 7 catches, 130, 2 touchdowns. They had a punt return for a touchdown. Rashard Harding had 13 tackles with a tackle and a half for loss. Defensively, they had 11 penalties. That shouldn't hurt them in this game against UMass. I think Liberty kind of got back. They're favored by 36 points. They may win by 36. I'm going to go Liberty for sure in that one. All right, UCF and Temple. UCF had a really nice win against Memphis, 24-7. It was really their defense that came to play in that game. They had 6 sacks and forced 4 turnovers in that game against Memphis. Isaiah Bowser came back, ran for 111 yards. They got their rushing game going pretty well with 215 yards as a team. Temple, they got killed by USF, 34-14. DeJuan Mathis, 183, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Brandon Jones had 4 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown. Alex Odom, 12 tackles, a tackle for loss. And Vandy Rigby, 10 tackles and a half tackle for loss. If UCF can get their running game going like they did last week, and really their defense should be able to show up because USF's defense is not very good, and they were able to hold down Temple pretty well. UCF at least should come out with a victory here. I don't know if they'll blow them out. Maybe they can win like 27-13 or something, but it would be a good win for UCF to get up to 5-3 on the season. So I'm going to UCF winning there. Bowling Green and Buffalo. Bowling Green got killed by Eastern Michigan 55-24. Matt McDonald 223 and an interception. Dan Anders 13 tackles, a sack, and a tackle for loss. Buffalo had their way with Akron 45-10. Kyle Van Treese 241 passing, 3 touchdowns plus 1 rushing. Dylan McNuffie ran for 111 and a touchdown. Defensively, they had 11 sacks. 11 sacks, 4 turnovers, with Kyler Lang having 3.5 sacks all by himself. Since Bowling Green beat Minnesota, that's their only win. No, they have 2 wins in the season, but they're going down. Buffalo seems to be catching their shot. I'm going to go Buffalo to win that game. All right, Texas State and Louisiana Lafayette. Texas State lost to Georgia State 28-16. Brady McBride, 255 passing, and interception, but he did run for 55 yards or 46 yards and a touchdown. My bad. Ashton Hawkins 6 catches, 108. Torrey Spears had 10 tackles. Louisiana, they beat Arkansas State in a 1-point victory. A nice back and forth game, 28-27. It was really all about the running game. They ran for 424 yards, put up 546 offensively. Chris Smith, 238 rushing and 2 touchdowns. Montrell Johnson, 150 rushing and 2 touchdowns. This could be potentially high scoring if Texas State gets a passing game going, but Louisiana, they're 6-1 and should go to 7-1 with the victory. Iowa State and West Virginia. Iowa State had a upset against Oklahoma State, 24-21. Brock Purdy, 307 passing, 2 touchdowns. Xavier Hutchinson, 12 catches, 125 and 2 touchdowns. Breece Hall ran for a touchdown in his 19th consecutive game. Western Virginia had a bit of an upset against TCU, 29-17. Jared Dagy, 257. Letty Brown, 111. 3 rushing touchdowns. Defensively, the 3 tackles was Josh Chandler-Semuto at 11 tackles and a tackle for loss. This could be kind of a low-scoring game. Both defenses are pretty decent, but I'm going to go with Breece Hall and Brock Purdy and the Iowa State offense to have a little bit too much for West Virginia. So Iowa State wins there. North Texas and Rice. North Texas held their own against Liberty. They had a lead, but they lost 35-26. Austin Aune, 212, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, and 56 rushing yards. Iowa Adeye, 99 rushing yards and a touchdown. Defensively, they had 6 sacks in that game. Rice had kind of an upset against UAB, 30-24. Willie Green, 205 and 3 touchdowns. August Petrie, 6 catches, 108 and a touchdown. Gabe Taylor had 10 tackles and a pass defense. Again, possibly high-scoring game here. Rice is favored. I'm going to go with North Texas there. North Texas has the offensive system in place. They look pretty good against Liberty. They can get their running game going. I think North Texas should be able to win. All right, Missouri and Vanderbilt. Missouri coming off a bye. They lost 35-14 to Texas A&M in their last game. Bazelak, 230 passing, 2 interceptions. Vanderbilt, they got bounced, whatever, killed by Mississippi State, 45-6. Mike Wright, 122 and an interception. They had 9 rushing yards and 155 total yards of offense. Jalen Mahoney, 10 tackles, a sack, and a tackle for loss. And Gabe Jeudy-Lally had 10 tackles. I don't think this will be close. Missouri should bounce back from bye week and their loss a couple weeks ago. They have too much offense for Vanderbilt. This is going to be Missouri's favored by 16. They'll win by a lot more than that. Washington State and Arizona State, kind of an interesting game in the Pac-12. Washington State, they did lose, but they lost 21-19 with BYU after their head coach and 4 assistants got fired for not getting vaccinated. Jaden Delore, 257 and an interception. Jahad Woods, 16 tackles, a tackle for loss. George Hicks had 10 tackles. Arizona State coming off a bye, they lost their last game to Utah, 35-21. They were up 21-7 at halftime and then lost. Jaden Daniels, 237 passing, 2 touchdowns, plus 32 rushing yards and a touchdown. They had 13 penalties in that game. They can't do that. Washington State is still a formidable team, a pretty good offense. I'm going to go with Arizona State here. Jaden Daniels doesn't usually turn it over much. If they can clean up the penalties, I think Arizona State will win. All right, the final of the noon games anyway, Hawaii and Utah State. The over-under is 65. I would take the over. This could be a high-scoring game. Hawaii did what they wanted against New Mexico State offensively anyway. They won 48-34. Braden Shager, 219 passing. Dedrick Parson, 161 rushing, 3 touchdowns. They ran for 263. Defensively, they had 2 interception return for a touchdown with Darius Muhasa at 10 tackles. Utah State, they beat a good Colorado State team 26-24. Logan Bonner, 233 passing, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Devin Tompkins, 6 catches, 104. Shaq Bond, 11 tackles. Justin Rice, 10 tackles and a tackle for loss. I'm going to go with Utah State here. Hawaii, they're traveling from the island to face a good offense in Utah State. It should be a fun game to watch. I'll go Utah State in the end there. So those are my noon games. See who will win the Florida-Georgia game in my next video. Peace.